Welcome, everybody, to our Thursday live show with Pat. What's my rate? McMasters and half of the dynamic duo, Ruby Graff. How is everybody?
Hey,
Good.
Rick.
How about
Ruby.
you? Good.
Jessica's out showing homes today. She said she might pop in, might make a guest appearance. We'll see. And but we're ready to rock and roll now. StreamYard changed a little bit here, so every once in a while you might see us end up in circles. I'm trying to figure out how to control this darn thing. So I am the controller of the screens here. So
You are the master of the screen.
I am the mouse super senior mouse clicker. So you sent me an article, Pat. I kind of wanted to jump right into it, and it talked about how just how slow the market is, and we all know it, but it showed it by the numbers here, and this is a graph that came up, and right here showing our total units in millions, right? We're just rock bottom there.
Yep.
Compared to, I mean, obviously this was the silly season here, but, and of course it all correlates to mortgage rates and Case-Shiller National Home Price Index. So this is high and this is high. So sales are low. But what's interesting, and I know you read through the article, I'm not going to go through everything, but it kind of sums something up here that I thought maybe you'd want to touch on for us. It may take a 5 to 10 year long slog. We use the word doldrums before you get back to a housing market that starts to resemble what we've had in the past. What do you think of that?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, it's the first person I've ever seen in an article saying that we might be in this thing for a number of years. I mean, you've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that. Obviously, I don't know what her title is or what she does, but I often thought the way this market's been going the last couple of years since COVID. I mean, obviously we saw quite the flurry a couple of years ago, but now the last 2 years it's been slogging along like you and I have been kind of talking about. I mean, who knows? I mean, is there anything in the horizon that could just kind of keep us moving along like this?
Well, it's when we look at our numbers here, Ruby, you're feeling this out there too. This is our monthly dollar volume, so it's really kind of mirroring 2023 and 2022, which were this time of year equally as slow. Back here, it spiked up a little bit, but we're all past 3 years now just hanging right in this slow zone. Not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, whenever you're waiting for something to shake out, it's either going to speed up or slow down. And then, Ruby, did you see this one? Do you have the Cromford report?
We have that, but we haven't. I think it's Friday that we watched that one this week. I haven't seen the most recent one.
Well, they came out with this, and it's adding it to the stage here. It shows year-over-year percentage gain in listings under contract, and it looks like a huge leap, but this is percentage comparing, the past few weeks this year to last year. Looks like a huge jump. The reality is it's about 350 homes.
Mm-hmm.
So a large percentage of a small number is
a small number.
Okay. Oh boy.
A small number.
I was going to send you all back to class, but
I felt like we were on a game show for a second there. I couldn't get the words out.
I hit the buzzer quicker.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
We try it. By now, some of the things should just flow. So I found this too. Odds of Fed making another big cut to interest rates in November fades. So, Pat, what happened to our 4 to 6 rate cuts this year? And things were just going to come jumping out of the gate after the September rate cut. What took the air out of the balloon or air out of the tires?
Well, that wasn't us. That was not us talking about 4 to 5, 6 rate cuts. You and I talked about, we talked about the end of last year. I said we'd be lucky if we see 2. And there's a lot going on with the economy. I mean, you look at 22, 23, obviously I think, we've got some more headwinds there's a lot more noise in the news. You got the port strike, obviously you said they're going to look like they're going to push that to January.
Yeah, I just read that they have a tentative settlement, which is good. So there was no need to go to Costco and stock up on toilet paper.
Yeah, in 22 we had the midterm elections, but we didn't have the presidential elections. We didn't the inflation rates. Obviously that middle of April, May of 22 they start going up, and so we got a lot of headwinds there. And like that one article you just pulled up, it said they make out some good points. This is a Redfin economic research lead. So this data tells us the housing market in 2024 has been really frozen. We said the same thing in 2023. And we think that the expectation, it couldn't get any worse, but 2024 has been disappointing for the housing market. So, this article just talks about how they're, what you didn't touch on it, but it said just 2.5% of the homes of the U.S. changed hands this year in the first 8 months, the lowest turnover rate in at least 30 years.
Yeah.
So, this article is pretty interesting. It does show, there's some people that are busy, some that are not. Overall, I think if you took a survey of most people, it's been just slogging along, like we say. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I'm going to put the link to the article in chat here.
Yeah.
Good. I was going to ask Pat if you could send that over to
Yeah.
And I'll pin this to the top for everybody. No, I guess I can't. We did have a comment here that all I saw was a question mark. So Miranda, question. Is that a question for us or are we not coming out? Whenever I see something like that, I'm thinking, oh no, I have a sound problem. But I'm hoping that this is StreamYard upgraded and changed everything, which is great. They got some cool stuff. It's my streaming software. And but every time they change something, I never know what's going to happen. So,
well, I think Phoenix, Arizona real estate. Or no, that's you. Okay, that's you. Boom. Hello.
I'm telling you, Pat, that day drinking starting to show.
I got to stop day drinking. I swear to God.
Yeah, bad. So
anyway,
so rates are not coming down. The bond market and everybody anticipated the 0.50, and now it's they're kind of going up a little bit, as you can see by the ticker below.
Yeah, we've lost. It pretty much kind of what you and I talked about before the cut, that they probably, it was baked into the market, probably 5 to 6 weeks before the rate cut. This is basically the day of the rate cut. We saw the 5% coupon, the 30-year 5% coupon was right here. The close was 100.47. And today it's 99.67. So we've lost about a point in the pricing on the 5% coupon, which rates have kind of skirted up. I wouldn't say skirted up, but you've got, like today, I'll just pick Provident, a paper lender, my typical 5% down, $475,000 purchase, 780 FICO score. You can see here, if I do increase basically you've got, back a couple of weeks ago, we were looking at, 5.996 was going to be kind of a par rate. We've kind of skirted up to around 6, 6.25, 6 3/8. So they floated back upward again in the short term. And on you and I had talked about that. We thought there would be some type of correction, this short-term correction in rates, which, we'll see these, within a 3 to 4 or 5 week period, you're going to see these movements. And I think obviously the next move is going to be, we'll see obviously the NFP report comes out, non-farm payrolls come out tomorrow. So we had the ISM come out today, and that did not help bonds. Bonds got beaten up today by about 28 basis points on this 5% coupon. So we saw some selling on some bonds. Rates are going up. So we've seen some short-term correction, rates going up a little bit, kind of what we had said that was built into the rate. Now it's just going to be probably in this range. I don't see rates getting crazy high, but we saw a little pop up, 1/4 point, 3/8 of a point, in the last 3-4 weeks. So until we get to the next round of news, next week we've got I was looking on the news report. We've got, let me just pull this up here. We got next week, we've got a slew of Fed, the Fed talk next week. So we've got some, Feds coming out next week. Let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we got some Fed talk then. So you're going to see these short-term gyrations. It's kind of still stuck in a range, but I think, the downward trend is still down. The trend is downward, but we're going to have these brief periods where you're going to have some float up on rates.
Well, Ruby, we were asked by one of our loyal viewers last week, when are we going to hit 20,000 units? You can see by the ticker below, I said next week, and we're almost there, 19,935.
Yeah. Yep.
Here's the interesting thing buried in these numbers here. At the end of the month, we always get more expireds. And hey, Kevin, I'm going to jump in and answer your questions here in just a couple minutes. Bear with us. So we get more expireds, October 1st than we do September 30th, right? Because people set the expiration of their listings to expire at the end of the month. So we popped up to 787, which actually was considerably higher than where we've been by about, I'm looking at it, I don't know, 150 more homes than normal came off the market. So people that tried to list in the summer put their listings on to expire September 30th. And so they did it at a higher number. But here's the funny part. We have a higher number of back on market homes at 806 than we've been trending all summer. So the people that waited all summer jump back in. So it's a complete wash.
But some of those back on markets, are some of those they would be if they fell out of escrow as well.
That could be, yes.
Some of those, yeah.
As a rule, though, this time of year, it's usually, I'm going to take it off for the summer and put it back on in October, and then they'll probably pull it off, December 1st too, if it doesn't move. So Kevin's asking us, Ruby, tell me what you think. Do you all think it's a good time to become a new agent?
Well, it's a good time to become a new agent if you're willing to put in the work that's going to be required. So it's a hard job. There's a lot more to it than I think a lot of people realize. Building out pipeline and getting out in front of people and building new business and contacts and sphere of influences. It's a good time, but it's a lot of work. So if you're willing to do the work, you'll do well.
If you're prepared not to have your first sale for 6 months, it's a good time to jump in.
Right. Don't quit your job.
You'll probably get one in 90 days. I doubt it. But depends on the team that you join, the brokerage that you go with, how much work you put in. And then this is a follow-up, says, is the NAR settlement making it more expensive for new home buyers?
No, it's not.
No.
Most of the sellers, any negotiations that I've had since it became an effective law has been the seller still paying the broker fee, no problem. So it's still the same.
I haven't seen any changes except for just confusion.
Right. Yeah. And it's our job to make sure that we can explain that to our buyers and our sellers so that, everybody can still run smoothly. And actually, I think some things are running a little bit more smoothly because it's making us be more in line with, describing the contract, what's happening in the contract and what does it actually mean. So instead of just like, I'm sending you the contract, go ahead and sign electronically, now we really are having to go over everything with them. And I think that's important.
Yeah. That should be done. The permission to show document to me is the most confusing one because the buyers think that they're locked in with you. But I can't unlock a door unless you and I have an agreement that you're giving me permission to show homes after I've explained to you what my fee is, and then explained to you that we're going to make every attempt to get that compensation paid for by the seller. And so it's confusing, but it's not dreadful. Here's some interesting.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah,
I think,
jump in, Pat.
I just, from my standpoint, I was talking to another agent, yesterday, and she said she's having a great year. She's been busy, and she said it hasn't affected her at all. But I just think when you see a change like that, which is unfortunate, because you and I, we both come from the mantra of being transparent, being straightforward with people. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that do that too, but I mean, I think you and I really strive to try to get people, show them what's right in front of them. I don't have nothing to hide. You have nothing to hide. But I think when you have a change like this, you're going to have some people that are going to be, what's the word, conniving about it. Maybe
some people are using it. I'll give open house as a prime example. Some people are saying you're now required to sign in to see this open house. And, that is the furthest thing from the truth. And that's really a pet peeve with me right now when I hear agents doing that. And because it's not true. And I had another agent the other day say, I asked about compensation. He goes, "Oh, it's in the MLS." And I thought, okay, you haven't gone to one class yet.
That's basically our changes.
That spot is it's gone. It's not even an option now. It's just gone. If it was there before, it's even gone.
That's the only thing that's really changed is where it can be shown. You still can be, if people want exposure to a home, the seller should be ready, willing, and able to pay something. I mean, nobody works for free. And, I know what agents go through. I talk to a lot of agents and, there's like mortgage brokers, there's good mortgage brokers, there's bad mortgage brokers, there's good agents, there's bad agents, but there's a lot that goes into it. The contract. I mean, a good agent, from what I've seen, if you can you've got an agent that's a good negotiator, they can be their weight in gold. They can save you 10, 15, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 plus on a transaction you want representation. Once again, I go back to the old, if you got into trouble and you had an attorney, do you want the attorney to, be representing both sides? No, I want somebody who's going to really be fighting for me. So,
if anybody wants to see the new forms and talk about it, I can't email them to you, but I've got a link below for both booking a Google Meets call with Pat or me, and I can actually pull up the form and explain to you what the new rules are and how to work within these new NAR guidelines. And Kevin, I hope that answers your questions, and thanks for asking it. It's definitely, and for that agent that said it's in the MLS, this listing was listed before the August 1st rule change. So I'm 100% positive that it was in the MLS.
Right.
But he just wasn't aware that it's been removed. So here's an interesting one here I wanted to share, and I wanted to kind of dance around it a little bit. Monthly home sales by transaction type. And I'll pull out my handy dandy magnifying glass here and show you that the purple line down below is new home sales, fairly consistent as a number. And then the blue is normal MLS. And then you got investor flip, non-MLS and short sales, right? But this changes. If you want to know the impact in the areas like Buckeye that have a lot of new construction, I filtered through that this morning. And so you'll see some interesting things in those areas, which explains why resale. See that there's 162 new home sales in August, only 124 resales. Now, if I take out Buckeye and I put in Maricopa, the difference is even greater. And so you'll see that new construction is 111 and resale is 77. What's another heavily new construction area that I should look at? Ruby?
Santan Valley, Queen Creek or Santan.
They don't separate. Well, here's Santan Valley. Let's look at that. Yeah, we just looked at Buckeye. Santan Valley, 212 to 138, twice as many new builds as, and let's look at Queen Creek. So it's where is it? There it is. I should learn the alphabet before I get that's 124 to 63. It's like a basketball game. The resale people got spanked. But that's an interesting chart. Monthly home sales by transaction type. The other one here is single family permits, new builds. And you can see that we're at 20,000 here in 2021. These are the permits. So it doesn't mean that they built 34,000 homes that year. The permit was issued then. It takes about a year and a half for the dirt, the 2x4s start going up. So they would be showing up last year.
So that's single family permits in what, Maricopa County or?
In our multiple listing service area, so parts of Pinal, Maricopa. Okay. So we peaked at 34,000. Back in 2004, we peaked at 55,000 and 51,000. I mean, that's when the overbuilding, when the permits were issued, and when did most of the overbuilding occur? Right here, 2006 and 2007, because these permits, the hammer started swinging right here. Mm-hmm. So that's when the wheels fell off the wagon, not just because we had a lot of homes, because the financing was so awful. So I thought that was kind of an interesting.
That 2000, go back to that chart, the 2010, 11, 12, we're still coming back. I mean, if you look at it, you can go back to that chart. We're still that area in there really, certainly we've still been behind since the population growth has grown, obviously. We're still way behind in supply.
Yeah, Ruby, I want to, Jessica and I went out and looked at a new build community in Gilbert this week, and I want to come out and tour some with you out in the West Valley. And what I want to do is walk into the sales office. I don't want to film the sales agent, but I want to, say, so what are you offering here? Do you have a wait list? And so that we can put some videos out there that show people what they should expect when they walk into a sales office.
Absolutely.
What are they going to tell you? This one was unusual. It's like, well, we have a wait list that goes all the way back to December, and we're just now making those calls. Well, how many people are on that wait list? Oh, I can't share that with you.
Was that Blossom Rock?
No, we're going to do that next week. But it was Tri-Point Homes in Gilbert. It's like, why can't you share that? I didn't ask. I just thought, we can't share that with you. Why not?
Right.
There's no rules.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was kind of unusual. So there we are, all circled again. I wanted to point out this again too, because we have this on the website, that if you want to get a detailed report on your home and your home's value, you just fill this out: name, email, address. Please include the city, because we've had some come through 123 Main Street, and I don't know where it is. And then anything below that you want to ask us, and we'll get a report out to you pretty quick. And it's not one of those reports like your instant home value evaluation that you get when you put in on most websites. It spits out a total. This one shows all the comps. So it's pretty nice. Pat pulls that up for us. So, and what else did I have for you guys? So probably
that's about it, huh?
Okay. We're going to sign off now. No, not too much. I have a bunch of links down below to check out. Check out this thing called Get You. If you're both a realtor and a buyer, Get You lets you put in what home you're looking for. I want this many bedrooms, this city. I want an RV park, all this stuff. And so you send me a link with your name and email, just an email with your name and email. Boy, am I stammering here. And I'll send you the link that you can use that for. It's just something very new. It's in the beta stage right now, but the link is down below. And agents, you can put your listing on there, and you can list your listing and find out if there's any buyers interested in that particular style and location. So we'll see how long it's going to do. Can we run the comps live on air? Rusty's asking. Unfortunately, no. It's a little, I don't know, Pat, I don't want to call it labor intensive, but it's kind of hard to show it.
It takes me a couple minutes to pull everything up a little bit.
I'd like to, Rusty, but it would bore everybody to tears. And it's hard enough for people just to keep up with us. So So Ruby, how would you describe the I've been saying it's slow. I've been saying it's going to be slow all the way until next year. Are you feeling that? Am I all wet? What do you think?
Well, I feel like it has been a little bit slower, but my phone is ringing more. over the last week. So I'm not sure if that's just a little bit of a push before the holiday season starts, but I mean, we've been busy over the holidays in the past, so it just kind of depends on, what we're doing out there to push the reason for our phones to ring. So just I'm sending out a lot of postcards, I'm sending out mailers, I'm making phone calls and that type of thing, just trying to get my phone to ring. So of course, then I've got personal business referrals as well. So I mean, I'm busy, but I can always be busier.
Well, I did an email. Hey, Rusty, shoot me an email at rick@rickhelps.com so that we have your email so I can send you the report. Don't put it in the chat here because everybody will want to talk with you. They'll spam the living daylights out of you. I was talking last week how people like from 72 Sold were saying since the rate cut September 18th, cough, cough, that they're getting more inquiries. Well, they're getting more phone calls. Hey, did the rates go down?
Yeah.
No, they went down last month.
Yeah.
So the inquiries are up, but according to the data, the contracts are barely up.
Well, who was I was listening to? Can't remember who I was listening to somewhere, shape or form on the computer. This rate cut it hasn't brought rates down, but it certainly has shown people, it's woken people up. Say, hey, rates are this is what's going on. So even though they started going down before the rate cut and they've gone up a little bit after the rate cut, it seems like has woken people up as far as like, hey, well, maybe I can. And then this is where you get that, you get the call centers, they get a little more aggressive on the refis and trying to, I saw our Jeb's, our other buddy in California, I was listening to their YouTube and, you get these call centers that, the servicers that come out of the woodwork say, hey, we can, now that rates, the average guy doesn't know. So they're going to say, hey, we can get your rate down to 4 3/4. But, regardless of the unsuspecting buyer or who is trying to refinancer is basically saying, oh, they're paying 3 or 4 points for that rate. And you're going to get these people that are out of the woodwork now, or out of they're coming out of the wood. The floors, whatever they're coming out of. They're coming out of somewhere. So
behind it,
I don't know where the hell they're coming out of.
Yeah,
they're coming out of somewhere.
Yeah,
the cornfield. I don't know, but so it's just you want to. There's a lot of games being played. I just hate the games. I like telling people the straight up truth. It's nice to just be refreshing and say, hey, this is what you got. If somebody's getting a good deal, they might be getting a good deal, but. Like I said, I'll put it out there. If anybody wants to send something to me, feel free to. I'll give you my straight, unbiased opinion as what's going on.
Yeah. Got to beware.
Great question for Gator. And Ruby, I apologize when I put these comments up. You disappear. I'm trying to figure
It's
out
fine.
Not do that. So
let me sit up taller.
It's supposed to roll up, but it's not doing it. I'll make another
It's
adjustment.
fine.
Is there anything more a realtor can actually show or tell you than really what you can see on Zillow? The reason I ask, I feel like my realtor just sends me Zillow links that I can find myself. The short answer for that is yes. And the long answer is yes, absolutely. Let me show you. This is what we see when we go in the multiple listing service. So while you put that question up, I pulled up Tempe. Okay. I didn't pull up anything in particular. I just said Tempe. And I like to look and start at the status here off the list. Active, active, active. Ooh, this one's price reduced. This is a new listing. Price reduced, price reduced, price reduced, new listing, price reduced, a lot of price reductions. And I like to look also, if I edit the search and say, I want to see if there's any coming soon listings for Tempe that you won't see on Zillow. And I can look at the list here and I can say, okay, let me send you these. These are coming soon. They aren't on. They're not available yet. But sometimes you can make a call and they'll let you in. So we'll just pick one here. Here's Beck Avenue in Tempe, and we look at it, and they've only got one picture. And the reason it's only got one picture is they haven't sent the photographer out there yet. So they're letting you know this is going to be on the market. Zillow's not going to have that, Gator, and it'll tell you down here when it's going to be available for the most part. It says, let's see, they don't have any instructions here on when you can see it, but some do. So Yeah,
and
you're
normally
right.
that would actually have, sorry to interrupt, but normally I noticed on that one that there was no address, just, or like no driving directions. There was no description yet. So they're throwing it out there to just like pique some interest. But a lot of times we as agents will call and get more information, get a description, and like you said, get them into the property sooner. Sometimes
Yeah, it
speed the
puts it on your
rush.
radar. We can say, hey, because we're showing some the past few weeks, and they said, well, it's not going to be on the market until next week, but if you want to see it this weekend, we can arrange that for you. And we were able to get in on a Saturday, and it didn't go active until the next week. And some of these will let you do that. And again, Zillow, what happens is when you put something on the multiple listing service, it syndicates out to all the other websites, including Zillow. And it'll end up on my website, Redfin, Trulia, everything. And so that's all you're getting. You're just getting the active listings and you're getting price reductions. But the multiple listing service will pull up coming soon. Now, my website that I have here has multiple listings. I have an IDX search. It's the exact same thing. If you're looking at, I just pulled up Tempe. So it's, if you don't have access to the multiple listing service, then go here, go to rickhelps.com and you'll get the same information that I just showed you there. And you can pick your view and everything else there. And you can filter stuff. Here's the list view. But this is a direct feed to what I just showed you on the other tab, this one here. So I pay for that just to have more resources available for you. But Gator, thanks for the question. So yeah, I have a lazy realtor. Well, only lazy if you tell them to do it and they don't do it. So
Yeah, true.
But look, next week, is there any data coming out, Pat, that could shake up the bond market? Because I'm thinking no.
I think so. I will refute that a little bit and say I think there is with the, I think Chairman Paul, the Fed speak, Goolsbee, one of the governors, Goolsbee, he's an economic guy. He was, I think, University of Chicago. I thought he's on CNBC and Fox and stuff like that. He's coming out and talking. And I think there's a couple other, let's see, it's his, let me see here. Hold on a second. Just him. And there's a CPI, core CPI in September coming out October 10th. PPI, producer prices coming out Friday. So yeah, there could be some shakeup based on what, the market's kind of selling out here the last couple of weeks. So you're gonna see some short-term blips here and there, but I think the trend still is downward. But sometimes, like this one guy that I follow, Hammer Helmer, he says, the trend is definitely downward, but he goes, you're gonna have some fits and starts.
Well, we got a question here from Juan that says thoughts on the Maricopa market. It's harder to sell a home in Maricopa than it is in some of the other suburbs simply because of new construction. So I'm going to show you this. This is active listings right now. See how they've gone up? Where this says 17,800. We have more than that. But let me go to Maricopa and see how that compares. Because I think, and the thing to look at too is there's that whole alphabet thing going again.
And we're not seeing anything, Rick, just in case you thought we were.
Oh, thank you.
We're not seeing anything.
Yeah. I'm looking over here and thanks for pointing out.
A lot going on.
573 homes. Let's see if I can pull up their days of inventory. And let me compare the whole market, which is sitting here at 99 days. So that's 30 days of inventory, or no, 90 days. So 3 months is what I meant to say. Let's go to Maricopa and see how that falls compared to everybody else. And it is 101. So it's close. And that measures based on how many sales are happening, how long would it take if no other listings came on the market to eat up the existing homes. It's about a 9-day difference. So it's not that bad. So, but you better, if you're you looking as a buyer or a seller? Rusty said, going through the buying process made me realize that people overblow how much agents make. I janked the guy around for 2 years only to make $7,500 off of me after tax splits, etc. Yeah, what do you think of that, Ruby?
Yeah, no, that's nice of him to realize that. I think what he's saying is that, people don't realize all the work that does go into a real estate transaction and how much a realtor does do for the buyers and the sellers. So we do earn it. And I appreciate the fact that I think he's saying that his realtor stuck with him through the whole process to make $7,500 over 2 years.
You think about it, you'll get if you don't have anything scheduled for the weekend, you kind of make some plans and stuff. And then along comes this call on a Friday. Hey, you available tomorrow? Hey, this just popped up. Can I see it tonight at 5:00? And would you do that if you were paid on an hourly basis? Oh, I get to go into the office and make time and a half today. It's Friday. Probably not. But if you're trying to get a commission, you tend to jump through a lot more hoops. And so it's you can go months and months of eating up gas and time and showings. And sometimes just to have a buyer say, well, you know what, I'm going to wait a year.
Yeah.
Right.
You're like, oh man. Okay.
Well, yeah. And even on the seller side too, it's just, flip that over. We go out of pocket as an agent right away when we're paying for the photos, the marketing and all that right up front,
I was starting to put that list together today for a future video. Watch this. Lewis, I'm going to get back to you on the Peoria market in a moment here. Check. I haven't made this big enough yet, but this is listing expenses in hours. It's kind of hard to see, but listing consultation meeting, 2 to 3 hours, your first meet. Photography, $150 to $500. Sign and signpost, $65. Flyers, $75. Advertising, $100 to $1,000. Mileage, 65 cents per mile. Document preparation, 4 hours. Broker compliance documentation, 2 hours. Phone calls, messages, general time varies, averaging 100 hours for a 3-month listing. Does that sound far off?
No.
So
Good job.
Think of those 1,400 people of the canceled listings and expireds that did all that, and they didn't get paid. I'm not whining about it. I'm just saying that's what it is. It's
like I said, I mean, I've seen agents like yourself, you guys, Jessica, I mean, good agents can save, something that's listed for $450, negotiate, down to, I'm just throwing numbers up, negotiate down to $430 with closing costs, thrown in. And, I've seen some amazing deals the last several years from, you've got the right negotiator on your side.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. It makes a difference on who you choose to use.
Yep.
It does. Here's the Cromford Demand Index for Peoria. It's not bad. If I look and say, what's the total market index for Peoria? I'll compare it to Phoenix. It's about the same. The market, anything below 100 is considered a buyer's market, and it is sitting at 94.2. So it's a buyer's market. Phoenix is right on the edge of balanced. Very few places, with the exception of, I think, Paradise Valley is in a seller's market still up here at 140.
Yeah.
So Peoria is about right there with the rest of the market, and same with active inventory. So that's where we're at. Ruby, it was fantastic to have you join us today.
Thank you.
And I'm going to let our loyal people know a rumor that I heard today. I'm going to put her on the spot. I think we're getting Jackie back next week.
We're sure hoping. We're really hoping.
So she has had her.
I might have to go help her, but she'll be ready.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun time. We haven't had her on for a long time. She had, I think, the world's worst shoulder surgery recovery on the planet, and we're gonna celebrate that if we can get her on next week. I can't wait. So,
Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna put a PSA out too. My heart goes out to those people in Tennessee and North Carolina and Georgia. Just it's just amazing what they're going through. My heart breaks for those people.
It is tough. I got some friends and family out there. They didn't get hit, but they were close to getting it. I think the thing about North Carolina got me was we weren't expecting that. We're expecting heavy rain, but nobody was prepared for what happened.
No,
Right.
no, it's
so sad. And there's still so many missing people.
Yeah.
It's
makes you appreciate what we got, and every day you never know what's going to happen. So
I quit complaining about the heat.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'd rather be hot than cold.
Yeah, no kidding. You guys have a super weekend. Thank you for everybody to watch. Take care.
Thanks,
All right,
bye.
take care, everybody.
Bye.